Yo, what is up guys? Grim here, and today we're going to be going over 3.5 Atlas strategies, and specifically which one I think is now the best Atlas strategy for currency and freedom of gameplay and build diversity, all that kind of stuff. So ever since a couple of leagues ago when the Elder Orb was introduced, we saw a big shift away from magic finding and doing low tier or shaped maps, and we've seen a really big move towards doing the highest, most difficult content possible in the game for really, really big currency gains. I'm going to explain all the stuff about this strategy coming up, and we're going to talk about pros and cons, the drops that you'll be looking to get and sell, maybe a few ideas about builds and stuff like that, and just really cover everything. So as I said, I'll introduce it first, and we'll get straight into it. So there's quite a few ways to approach this new high tier 16 strategy. So traditionally, we think of T16 maps, we think of Guardian maps, and these really aren't very good maps to farm. They don't have the best density and they don't have the best layouts, and the bosses, of course, are very difficult at the end. So no one really favored doing Guardian maps for farming, but ever since the introduction of the Elder Orb and more recently a new modifier to Zana, we've had some new options to farming tier 16 maps, and we'll go over those now. So first off, we have the Elder Orb here. So what the Elder Orb does is allows you to turn any map on the entire atlas into a tier 16 map, which is extremely powerful. And the reason this is so powerful is unlike shaped maps, you have no restriction to what map you can pick. So you can literally pick the best layout on the entire atlas with the most sections, the most monsters in it, and turn that into a tier 16 map, essentially giving you the best map on the atlas at the highest tier. So it's really, really powerful. And the way you go about getting this isn't too difficult. It might be a bit intimidating for new players, but you will be able to get it. All you need to do is complete Zana's questline. So you'll have to do all 15 memory fragments and then kill Shaper. Which isn't the easiest thing to do, but after you do that, you'll be able to grab the Elder Orb. And again, you can pick any map and Elder it and turn it into a tier 16 map, which is just fantastic. The other strategy we can go with now, which has been, I believe, introduced in Delve, is by using a Zana modifier on your maps. So this Zana modifier is the tier 16 Elder modifier. So the effect of this is to turn any map again into an Elder map, similar to the Elder Orb, but to do this you need to pay each time you want to use it, 15 chaos per map. So if I wanted to Elder this conservatory, I would put it in here, and if it wasn't filed, it would be 15 chaos to turn that straight into a tier 16 map, and everything would be about it would be just like the Elder Orb. So you're probably thinking, like, what is the advantage in this? Why would you ever do this over just eldering a map and an Elder Orb? The main reason is because you can use any white map, and it doesn't actually impact your atlas at all. So if I use the Elder Orb on, let's say, Grotto over here, you'll notice it turns it from a white map into a red map. Now this is actually a pretty damn big deal. Without the Elder Orb using Zana, you can actually have an additional white section on whatever map you're running, which will reduce your cost of running that map by a lot and let you make more money, which is pretty cool in my opinion. So that's one of the differences. And then obviously the other difference is you can just feed in white maps to kind of run these. So the idea behind this is, if you think about it like this, you can sell a Guardian map or a Elder map for as much as like 50 chaos or more at the start of the league, and it goes down to around 25 to 30 chaos at the end of the league. So if you're having to constantly put in maps that you farm and you're trying to sustain your map pool by using the Elder Orb, then you're actually spending 25 to 30 C every time you put a new map in anyway. So it actually works out cheaper to use the Zana mod and just get all the maps you get and sell them. So it's actually a lot more cost effective to use the Zana modifier, and it caps your cost or your buy-in cost at around 15 chaos. However, the drawback to this is obviously you'll need to buy a ton of white maps, specifically the one that you want to run. Even yellow maps as well, those are fine. So you'll have to like buy in bulk, which can be a little bit difficult at the start of the league. But yeah, you won't be sustaining maps. You'll have to buy them from other players, which I know a lot of people find a pain, but you will be saving so much more money and making so much more money. So between the two, I think that the Zana modifier is the superior choice. You get an extra sextant slot in a lot of cases. and you'll also gain access to a lower buy-in cost. So now that we've talked about that, let's talk about all of the benefits that come with this strategy over the traditional means. So I've got a bit of a spreadsheet here. It's just a simple one. We won't worry too much about T15 Zana. That'll be a different video. But we'll talk about Elder maps and Tier 16 maps. So as I just said, you get 5 sextants instead of 4 by using T16. This is actually around the wrong way here. But yeah, you get to use 5 sextant locations instead because you complete the full atlas instead of just removing the guardians to sustain. So that's a really big advantage, getting more monsters in your maps. And then in addition to that, there's also that white map buy-in reduction, which is really good. So we're going to be talking mainly about T16 Zana here. The one little caveat here is that Tier 16 Zana is a lot harder to get than just the Elder Orb. So to get the Tier 16 Zana mod, you'll need to complete all the quests, just like all the way up to Shaper, just like the Elder Orb. And then in addition to that, you'll actually have to kill the Uber Elder encounter as well. Having said that, you can just jump in with a friend. So if you've got Uber Elder on your Atlas, you can get a friend to come in and kill it for you. But you still do need to spawn him and go through that process to get the Tier 16 Zana modifier as it stands right now. Things may change in Betrayal, but I'll update you guys with that in the comments if that happens. So let's get into why this is so damn good. So unlike magic finding and stuff like that, you've got a ton of guaranteed 100% always going to be there drops that you can rely on for currency. So the first one here is Abyss Jewels, and item level 82 Abyss Jewels specifically. So these are the highest item level jewels in the game which have the most modifiers. Anything higher than this isn't relevant. But you're going to be able to get these, and you'll get about 1 to 2 per abyssal crack, which you find in your maps, which you'll be getting from sextants and naturally spawning. And every time you get one of these, and it's a abyss jewel, it's going to sell from anywhere between 5 to 20 chaos for the really good ones at the start of the league, those being the searching eyes. And you can sell these in bulk. People like to craft these abyss jewels, and you can sell like 30, 40 at a time. It's not uncommon to get multiple exalts in a trade just by offloading your abyss jewels. So this alone probably pays for a large majority of the costs involved with just running the maps. So it's really insane. Next up, we have high percent chance at Chayula breaches. So in Path of Exile, you have breaches spawning in from sextants, you have them from the new scarabs, and naturally, and all that kind of stuff. And what you'll notice is the higher the tier maps you go up, the higher chance you have at Chayula breach spawns. And Chayula splinters can be worth anywhere between 1 to 2 chaos each, and you can get up to like 10 of them or more from a Chayula breach. So you can imagine getting 10 to 20 chaos per breach. That's pretty damn good. So yeah, you're going to be getting a lot of currency from that, and if you can be patient and sell the breach stone full, then you'll get even more money for your splinters. So you'll get a pretty damn good chance at Chayula breaches. Next up is a bit of a difficult one for new players, but what you'll be getting is high item level Shaper and Elder bases. So these can be, as I just said, a bit of a pain to price, but they are well worth pricing. If you know what you're looking for when you're picking them up, or you're using a loot filter, which can use pricing thresholds like the one I use, then you'll have no trouble being able to filter out all the trash ones and just pick up the really good ones. High item level Shaper and Elder bases also sell for like 2 to 3 exalts for some of them, but a lot of them sell for just like 20 or 30 chaos, which is still really good profit, and they sell really quickly as well. So yeah, very, very good form of income there, but try and find a loot filter that has pricing thresholds on it or something like that, and then you'll be good to go and you won't have to spend too much time looking at prices. Next up is the main moneymaker and the thing that you'll probably get most of your currency from here, and that is maps. So this is particularly strong at the start of the league. But when you're doing these tier 16 modifiers or the Elder Orb, you're going to be able to get every single tier of map below it. And if you're running Zana, you don't actually need any maps that drop so that you can sell all of them. So you can sell the Guardian maps, the T15s, 14s, all of them. And pretty much at the start of the league, Guardian maps can be worth as much as an Exalt each, which is pretty insane. And you're going to be getting like 1 to 2, maybe even 3 of them per map you run, which is just mind-boggling. Imagine paying 15C to get an Exalt, right? That's just crazy on top of all the other stuff. The one downside to this is that you do have to sit in your hideout and sell these to players, so you will have a bit of trading downtime, more so than you would like farming doctors or something like that, because there's just so much to sell, but you're going to be making crazy amounts of money, so it's well worth it. Next up, you've got item level 84 Stygian Vices. So like Abyssals, these are from Abysses. Whenever you spawn an Abyssal Crack and it turns into an Abyssal Depths, it's well worth going into those. At the end, if you get a Stygian Spire, it has a 100% chance to drop a Stygian Vice of item level. I think it's 84 or 85, and these things sell for 20 to 30C. Obviously, everything on this list is going to sell for more at the league start if you can get there fast. But yeah, you can see all these drops just compared to the normal just currency and divination cards. Look at all this stuff. You have so much, and it's not affected by quantity or anything, so you can choose to run the craziest builds you want and make crazy money still. So really, really great here. That's going to be our drop table. So we're going to quickly cover some pros and cons here. I just want to cover briefly. So in terms of scarabs, scarabs are insane with this strategy. As we talked about before, abysses, they're crazy with it. Breaches, you're going to get more Chola splinters. Just all this stuff. And there's a cartography scarab. I'm sure that's going to increase map drops somehow, which means more guardians and more maps to sell. So it's just really going to work very, very well with scarabs, which are coming out and extremely powerful. So again, a high sextant count. If you're just doing normal shaped maps, you're going to get like 3 to 4 sextants, but with Zana, you get 5, and you can have 5 white sextants, which is just crazy. It's like insane. So really, really good. And again, the drops are consistent. Unlike Magic Find, where you could like maybe get a Doctor or maybe an Exalt. You're just gonna get maps. You're gonna get Abyssals. It's just gonna happen. So you're gonna be making a consistent increase in currency constantly. You're going to notice all that money coming in. It's not going to be a chance, which is really, really cool. Next up, a completely flexible atlas. So as I said, you're going to be just completing the whole atlas 159 out of 159, meaning you can do anything you want. You can change what map you're doing just by buying a different white map or yellow map and then moving your influence over or moving which map your Elder Orb is on. It's extremely flexible. You can basically, the world is your oyster. And if you want to swap over to farming some Uber Elder, you can do that too. So it's a really liberating way to play as opposed to the old shaped meta, which is really, really fantastic. And obviously, even higher profit at league starts, which is just great. Now, a few of the cons here, there is definitely a lot of setup involved with this kind of strategy. You need a pretty geared character, so you're going to be looking at wanting like probably a 6 link, and obviously you want to go as fast as you can to get more maps done, more Abyssals, more maps, all that kind of stuff to sell. So you want to be looking at a clear speed character if you can, and that would be ideal. But yeah, you can do it with pretty much any build because you don't need that Magic Find gear, but higher gear is faster and better. So you're going to need like all that kind of stuff. Next up, you're going to have to complete the Zana questline, whether that's all the way up to Shaper or Uber Elder. It's definitely going to be quite a mission for a lot of you guys, but it's well worth it. It's going to be more currency than any other strategy in the game by a mile. So yeah, it's definitely worth doing. Just spend the time and do that if you can. Next up is buying those white maps for the Zana strategy. It can be a bit of a pain, especially at the league start. But yeah, it's just part of the process because it's like you're going to be making so much money off it. It's like worth it to buy them, in my opinion. But yeah, it can be a bit annoying, and there's going to be a lot of trading involved with this strategy. But if you don't like that, you can just go down the Elder Orb route if you'd like. Next up, it's not really a con, but if you're playing in a group, you will see those consistent drops needing to be divided between players. So all of the kind of drops which will always drop, they don't increase with quantity. So you're not going to be able to get more Abyssals or more Chola Splinters from having more players. So you're just basically going to be cutting into that base profit, but I guess you'll get a bit more Magic Find and maybe that can compensate for it. But yeah, in my opinion, this is a strategy which you mainly want to run solo, in my opinion. Next up, which is a big thing for this strategy, is if you're using the Zana modifier, it actually makes the map you put in rare and unidentified. It like re-rolls the mods. So what that means is you can roll Reflect or any mod really in the game. So if that is a problem for your build, you're going to need to have a way or a strategy to make it so that you can run any map mod. So when I'm playing Tornado Shot and I can't do Elemental Reflect, I needed to come up with a solution for that, and the solution was to become 100% Reflect immune. So you want to be able to plan that out. If you're playing something like Essence Drain, you don't need to worry because you can run any map mod, but if you're playing something like Tornado Shot, you definitely need to come up with a strategy. So the strategy for me was to buy a Purity of Elements watch his eye, and then also get all of the reflect nodes on the tree, which I could. I believe this is the character I used. But stuff like this, Primeval Force, is going to allow you to run those reflect maps. Also, stuff like Sibyl's Lament can be really great to combat reflect. If you just whack that on and just have it in your inventory and gear swap it over when it's required. So that's going to be kind of like all of the cons. I want to say that this is definitely a much more fun strategy. The maps can be challenging and stuff like that as well, and you just have so much more freedom. So I highly encourage you guys to kind of go out there and give this a go if you can kill Uber. And in the next video, we are going to be covering what are the best maps for this strategy, because that is a big question. We're going to be looking at sextants, map locations, all that kind of stuff. I'll give you a bit of a sneak preview here. We've got a lot of information coming up. We've got the classic spreadsheet here, so we're going to be going over this in the next video. So get pumped for that, and make sure you ring that little bell and subscribe. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.